I went from looking skinny to aesthetic by emphasizing the 7 most attractive muscles on a man. And in this video I will be covering the exact same exercises that I trained so you can get the exact same results to go from skinny to aesthetic. Skipping just one of the 7 aesthetic muscles will just ruin the physique, so make sure to watch all the way to the end. The first exercise that will make you go from skinny to aesthetic is the neck. Both the front, lateral and the back. So there was a study done by somebody called OSF. So they had taken a test to see which muscles from a man was the most attractive looking ones. And they found that the neck was one of them because it shows the signs of strength, masculinity, power, which are the traits that a woman finds attractive in a man. When we are training the neck, we want to do 3 sets with at least 15 plus reps because we don't want to strain our neck. It's a very soft muscle, if that makes sense. It is very easily irritated, so we don't want to put too much strain on it. So if you feel any strain or it hurts, then lower the weight. And then remember to be warm with your neck before doing it to minimize the risk of injury. If you are the most optimal person, then you will do it at the end of your gym session because you're already training and you are warm by the end of it. So if we start with the front neck. So the front neck we train by just laying on the edge of a bench where we are laying on our back. What we want to do is that we want to think about curling our neck and think about our chin touching our upper chest, or like the hole that we have right around here. So it will look like this. And then fully stretch your neck again so you will get the stretch on the muscle. And not so attractive way to think about it, but a really effective way to think about it is to think about getting as many double chins as possible. If you feel a burn right around here, then you're doing it correctly. So for the back neck, it's some of the same principles. Here we just want to lay on our stomach, and then we just want to think about, again, curling our neck instead of just lifting our neck. Can you see the difference? Curling the neck and squeezing, and just lifting the neck. We want to curl. And for the lateral neck, we just want to lay on the edge again. But what we want to think about here is just looking from right to left. Think about your chin needing to touching each of your shoulders. And if you want to speed up your progress even faster, I even have a course that you can buy. It's for $29 right now a month, which is the lowest that it will ever be. So if you're interested, then just go down and click the link in the description before the limited offer is gone. The second exercise that will make you go from skinny to aesthetic is to do some exercises for your lats, which could be pull-ups or lat pull-down. The reason why this is so attractive for women, and is the reason for why it's one of the aesthetic muscles, is because I want you to think about a woman's physique. What is attractive for us men in a woman? It is when a woman has the hourglass shaped form. So that means that she has a wide breast, she has a thin waist, and then it goes wide again. Wide thighs or ass. But for a woman to be attractive in us men, it is the opposite. They like to have the kind of Dorito looking man, which means that we want to train especially our lats because that is the one that gives us the width and the Dorito look. The reason why this is probably so attractive is, according to studies, it is because, again, when you're more wide, you look like a more strong and powerful man, which is what women are attracted to. Basically, masculinity. So what you want to do is do 3 sets of something called the reverse pyramid style. I will just quickly explain what the reverse pyramid style is. So the reverse pyramid style is where we do the most heavy amount of sets in the first set, and then we just decrease the weight and do more reps in the next couple of ones. So very simple. So in the first set, we want to do 6 to 8 reps. The second set, we want to do 8 to 10 reps and decrease by like 16%. And then in the third set, we want to do 8 to 10 reps. Oh no, not 8 to 10, sorry. 10 to 12. Basically, it's just adding 2 more reps. The reason why we want to do the reverse pyramid training is because it not only emphasizes hypertrophy, which is basically doing resistance training, which means that you build more muscle, but it's also doing strength training. Because think about it, you can't really build more muscle if you don't get stronger, can you? Exactly. So that's why we also want to focus on our strength. That's why we do few reps in the first set and a bit of a few reps still in the second one, but we go all out for hypertrophy in the last one. If you don't feel like this is enough, which you definitely won't be thinking, because trust me, when you try it for the first time, you're gonna be so sore and so exhausted. But if you're special and you can do more, then you can just add some sets. And then you should at least rest between 3 minutes after each set. And of course you can just go by intuition, so if you feel like you're ready, then you can also just go. But 3 minutes is a good thumb rule for the most muscle growth. And a really good tip that I actually have for the lats is to do half reps. So when you have done the absolutely last one with the best amount of form possible, then you just do half reps. Half reps, 1/4 rep, 1/4 rep, and trust me, you will get that extra bonus on like your lats. So the form that I want you to be thinking about is that when we do lat pull downs or pull-ups, we want to be leaning slightly back, and then we want to think about having some oranges under our armpits, and then you just want to squeeze the oranges. You want to squeeze it. That's how you activate your lats. Then you want the bar to touch your upper chest when you have brought it all the way down, and then we want to fully stretch out our lats. Really just think about the bar lifting you up, so your arms are getting retracted basically, so that your lats is getting the full stretch. So the third exercise that will make you go from skinny to aesthetic is doing some exercises for your traps. Basically dumbbell shrugs or barbell shrugs. So again, the study from OSF is basically, it said the same thing with the traps as the neck. It makes you seem more powerful. I don't really want to go that much into the explanation anymore. Like, I think you understand the concept. So what we want to do here is do 3 sets of, in the first one, 8 to 10 reps. The second one, 8 to 10 reps again. And then in the third set, we want to do 10 to 12 reps. So again, using the reverse pyramid training. But the reason why that we do 2 sets of 8 to 10 is because this is a movement where we are strong. So we will want to do fewer reps because we want to spam out our strength. And it's also because your forearms will usually take over if you hold the dumbbells for long enough. So if you do like 15 reps, your forearms will be dying first instead of your traps. Rest at least 3 minutes or so after each set, again, or you can just go by intuition. So the best way to hold the dumbbells or the barbell is hold it in the natural way. Just grip the bar or dumbbell naturally. Usually I actually did it with the thumb over the bar, but I quickly realized that it puts more strain on your wrist, and when you go up in weight, all of a sudden the bar will slip out of your hand, so you will have to kind of, like, how can I say this, like explode the dumbbell up, like kind of throw it up and then try to grab it again to have like a better grip. So I definitely don't recommend doing the thumb over the bar thing. Just hold it naturally, and then you just want to think about your shoulders having to touch your ears. And then hold the squeeze for at least 1 second so you really can feel the burn. So basically do explosive reps on the up, and then of course we want to control the weight down. So the fourth exercise that will make you go from skinny to aesthetic is doing some kind of exercise for your lateral delts, which is in this example gonna be the lateral raises. And it's the same here with the lats. The reason why we want to train it, and it's a part of the aesthetic muscle groups, is because it gives you the Dorito look. It also makes you white. So here we want to do a little bit more reps because it's a smaller muscle group and it's not a compound movement, which basically means it only trains one muscle, which is the lateral heads. So what we want to do is do 8 to 10 reps in the first set, 10 to 12 in the second, and then 12 to 15 in the last one. And then after each set, I want you to, when you can't do another rep, just spam out half reps. That is really a good bonus tip that I did to grow my shoulders faster. Here you should do around 1 to 2 minutes rest because it doesn't fatigue you that much because it's only one muscle group and it recovers pretty quickly. So the form, I want you to think about not having your arms straight and just go up. I want you to have a little bit of a bend and then think about raising your elbows and not your arms. And then I want you to not raise beside of your body, but a little bit more in front of your body. Think about 45 degrees in front of you. And then when you're doing the rep, think about it like having a chair that you're sitting on. Can you see my arms can't go further in? This should be how you think about it when doing the lateral raises. you should go up so that your hand is about shoulder height, but when you control it down, your arm should only go till here, because it will keep the tension on the muscle. So it will look like this when you're doing lateral raises. Many, they do the mistake of going all the way in with their shoulders, but there's no tension on the shoulders when you are all the way in here. So a way that made my shoulders go quicker is just think about this. Have that 30-degree space with your arms. So the fifth exercise that will make you go from skinny to aesthetic is doing exercises for your upper chest. The reason why that it is most attractive is because the upper chest is something that can always be seen. Think about it, when you have a shirt on, you can kind of tell if like the shirt is a bit tight, and you can still see it in like the hole right here. So here we want to do more strength focus, but still have some hypertrophy. So again, in the first set, we will do 4 to 6 reps, decrease the weight with 16%, do 6 to 8. Then in the last set, we want to do 8 to 10 reps. And what exercise we will be doing is either an incline dumbbell press or an incline barbell bench press. So I want you to set the bench at 45 or 30 degrees, because usually that is the range, according to studies, where people get the most chest activation. I want you to test it out for yourself. I'm personally a 45 degrees dude, but maybe you are 30 degrees. Again, you have to experiment for yourself to see what burns the muscle the most for you. Then I want your legs to be planted in the ground so they don't shake and trip, so that you have the most stability and can put more strength into it, basically using leg drive. I want you to think about, again, go explosively up and then control it all the way down. Think about your elbows should be right beside your chest, and when they are that, then you can go up again. And of course go all the way up, and think about your biceps should come together so you really get the squeeze on your chest. And then don't flare out your shoulders or your elbows so your shoulders are at risk of injury. Think about having them at a 45 degrees inwards. That is the most safe for the shoulders. The sixth exercise that is gonna make you go from skinny to aesthetic is training the biceps. The biceps has 3 heads. It has the short head, which gives the peak of the biceps. It has the long head, which gives the kind of thickness and length of the biceps. And then there is the brachialis. The brachialis is the one that gives width to your biceps. A mistake that people do is that they think that they want bigger arms, but bigger arms aren't necessarily more attractive, because the tricep makes up like 2/3 of your arm, which means that is technically the muscle that you should train to get bigger, but it's not making you more attractive. So just train the tricep minimally and then focus more on your biceps. The bicep is the most attractive muscle. The biceps we want to do between a low amount of reps, but still a little bit of a high amount of reps, because usually I see more growth in my biceps when I get them stronger. So I do still reverse pyramid training, but I do 2 sets of 8 to 10, and then the last set I do 10 to 12 to get the hypertrophy, to really spam them out. If I have the energy for it, I will go for a drop set. You can do that as well. And have 2 to 3 minutes of rest. That's usually when your biceps are ready to go again. And the form basically depends on the biceps, the muscle of the bicep that you want to train. If you want to train the short head, then you just need to think about having your elbows in front of you. And if you want to train your long head, you want to think about having your elbows behind you, so doing something like cable curls. And then if you want to train your brachialis, then you just want to have a neutral grip on the dumbbells or cables, and then you just want to go directly upwards like this. And a mistake most people do is that they do like cheat reps where they swing their body and not fully locking out their arms. I really recommend you that you really lock out your arms. Think about almost trying to activate your triceps. Look at my rep here. You go all the way up, think about your pinky going to the roof, then you lower the weight, and then see my tricep, squeeze the tricep, because that's when your bicep is fully getting stretched. So the 7th aesthetic muscle that you want to train to go from skinny to aesthetic is doing exercises for your lower abs. The reason why that we want to focus more on the lower abs and not the upper abs is usually it's because we skinny people especially usually have well-developed upper abs, because we also train it when we do bench press or bicep curls, because we have to keep our core engaged. Of course, if you are lagging, just your abs entirely, then of course you need to train all of the muscles. But usually it's because people are lacking the lower abs, because that is the most attractive one of the abs muscles. The way that we train this is by doing some kind of leg raises. Probably now that you're a beginner, you want to do it lying on the floor, and then you don't want to think about just lifting your legs, but you want to think about curling your body up. So when you have gotten your legs up, you kind of think about lifting your ass up and then squeeze your abs. It's a kind of difficult to do. Like, I kind of want to show it, but it will take a long time. Maybe I can do like a separate video on that. Comment down below if you want to see the form or something like that. Here we want to do reverse pyramid training again, but we want to have higher reps. So we do 8 to 10 in the first, 10 to 12 in the second, and 12 to 15 in the third set. And then just go beyond failure. Just drop down and do it on the floor if you can do it on a bar. Or if you can't do that, then just try to spam out as much as possible. Try to superset it with some other exercise, like mountain climbers or some exercise like that that also targets the lower. You just want to spam it entirely. So if you enjoy this kind of content, then I will actually really appreciate if you go down and comment on these videos. It would be lovely if you try to tell me what you would like to see in the future or what you would like to learn. I will definitely try to incorporate that if it's within my capabilities. And then go down and subscribe to my channel if you want to see more of this educational content that will literally make you so attractive. Like literally, I can't tell you how much this has fucking helped me to just build some muscle and the right amount of muscle on the right muscles, and not just overall building some muscles. Thanks for watching, and watch this video over here or here, the ones that pop up if you want to see more of this content. Thanks for watching and have a wonderful day, bro.